Scotland and Argentina, folks. That is one of the greatest comebacks I think I have ever seen. The Argentinians were absolutely dead and buried at 21 points to nil. And yet they come back from behind and win pretty emphatically 33 points to 24. What a finish from the Argentinians. The bench replacements Contepomi brought on at 45 minutes looks like absolute genius because they made a cracking difference to this side. The world rankings were on the line for this game in terms of Scotland chasing down that Argentinian 6th spot. And at 21-0, it was looking very dangerous for the Argentinians in terms of, like, if they lost to England next week, Scotland could pass them. But Argentina keep their fate in their own hands. And I think that storyline is done. Not only do they keep the points, but they get a pretty emphatic win. It is crazy, crazy stuff. We'll go through some of the key events and the stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts on how this one went. Jamie Dobie ended up getting a start at 9 for Scotland. Ben White was a late withdrawal. Seems he's ill. And I, for one, was actually pretty happy about that because I wanted to see, not that Ben White got ill, but that Jamie Dobie was getting a start in a big game like this. And I thought he was doing all right early. And Scotland had the early pressure. Like, Malia got himself yellow carded. The Scots were attacking. Darcy Graham chucking the ball behind his back. Malia chucks one-handed it. Deliberate knock-on. Yellow card. No penalty try because Oviedo is in the area to potentially be an additional tackler to shut down the Scottish attack. So, just a yellow card. What can the Scots do? They don't punish initially. They do go for the corner. They get some width into the ball, but the Argentinian defence holds. And unfortunately, Gregor Brown has to go off with an HIA, which he doesn't return from. It's not even 10 minutes in, so that's bad news for him. But good news for the Scots is they do still get the try during the yellow card period, and it's Finn Russell who sells it. He sells it with his look. It looks like he's going wide, but he pops it a short ball to Dempsey, who's cutting up alongside him. Goes over pretty much untouched for the first Scottish try, and it's good for Dempsey because he conceded a pretty soft offside penalty in the phases when Argentina had the ball before that as well, which is not what you want to be doing when you've got the extra man. You want to be punishing, not giving away soft offside penalties. So 7 points to nil for the Scots with the Dempsey try. And for Argentina, they were able to get a bit of pressure going, but no points from it in the first half. Malia had a shot at goal after a decent period of pressure. He missed it. Then the Scots had their own period of pressure. Matt Fagerson, his brother, Xander wasn't playing, won a penalty at the breakdown. They went for touch the Scots, but they gave away a free kick at line-out time, so it was a bit of a missed chance, I guess, from both sides. But the next chance taken was the Scottish one, 27 minutes. A load of phases, ends up with Ashman. It was like 19 phases, so really good retention from the Scots. Ashman kind of spinning out of a tackle, goes over for his first of 2 tries, 14 points to nil. Cracking stuff from the Scots. The Argentinians did miss another penalty on the half an hour mark, and then by like the end of the first half, they weren't even going for penalties anymore. Let's just go for points. Got a penalty, go for touch, but then they had the same free kick issue that the Scots had earlier. So 14 points to nil at halftime. It's looking pretty hunky-dory for the Scots. They've had less possession in territory, not too much less, like 47% possession, 45% territory, but neither side's line-out is working very well, to be fair, but they've been winning the turnovers, they've been getting the line breaks, they've been busting the tackles. They have conceded a few more penalties, the Scots, at halftime, which is maybe one thing that was a bit of a concern. And that continued the start of the second half. They had a bit of pressure on, but Darge got pinged for a clean-out by the TMO as well. They ruled that there was nothing much in it, but it seemed like it was going to really arrest the Scots' momentum because they'd started the second half with a hiss and a roar as the Argentinians had a pretty poor exit from the start of the half. But they didn't find touch. You cannot miss touch from your own 22 when you've just been given a get out of jail free card with that TMO intervention. Miss touch, the Scots run it straight back at them. First up the guts, they put some width in it, right wing, left wing, and then Ashman hits the ball at pace for his second. Absolutely block-busting stuff. 21 points to nil. As I say, at 21 points to nil, the points exchange, because the margin is bigger than like 15 points, that puts Scotland on the verge of passing Argentina. All it would take is Scotland not to lose to Tonga next week, Argentina to lose to England, who are looking a good team, by even 1 point, and Scotland would be replacing Argentina as that 6th place side. So that was the margin they needed. 21-0. But here it comes. Argentina. Contepome brings on the subs. He subs both his props. He subs his 9, he subs his 10, and he brings on Matera as well. He brings on 5 subs at one time, and immediately you can feel the difference. Like, they didn't initially convert. Moroni and Mateo Carreras almost combined, but there was a knock-on between them. To be fair, Kyle Stain had a tackle intervention to shut down the move, but it was slightly ominous signs. And then I think the absolute turning point is on the 53rd minute. Scotland won a scrum penalty. Touch, maul, the maul's going close. They're going through the phases. And then there's just a wide pass which bounces and is pounced upon by the Argentinians, who go from defending their own line, length of the field. How they didn't score is anybody's guess. It was almost a direct 14-pointer, but what does happen with that scramble defense is Kinghorn gets yellow carded. I think it was offside. Kinghorn goes in the bin. We've gone from one end of the field to the other, and now the pressure is on the Scots, and the Argentinians make him pay. 15 against 14. Close range try for Montoya, the captain. They have to check it, but he gets it down. 21 points to 7. Minutes later, Iskro gets one. It's not really a traditional Rodrigo Iskro try because it wasn't at pace. It was close range. But there was a fair bit of space in the build-up to it. But it's a close range finish from him. Misconversion, but 21-12. Russell does kick a penalty on, 63 minutes? Which looked like, okay, let's settle down. Let's extend the lead again. Arrest some of this Argentinian momentum. Cool heads. Everyone take a moment. They got the penalty to make it 24-12, but it didn't stop anything. They've already conceded 2 tries in the yellow. We're back to 15 on 15, and Argentina want more points. They are not going for threes. They go through some phases. They had a midfield maul, and then Rubiolo goes over from close range to make it 24-19. So suddenly we're going from, hey, if we keep this margin, we could potentially take enough world rankings points to looking at 6th to, hey, let's just win the game. But Argentina want to win the game more. Mateo Carreras, Santi Carreras combine, a big break down the left wing, close range phases, and then they have to check it, but there's a tier mode one. Matera is able to get over from very close range, saying the ball has just hit the line as he went over. I think it's true. It looked like it just brushed the line, so 26-24. The comeback, I don't want to say it's complete because there's more points coming, but unbelievable. Unbelievable from the Argentinians. Phenomenal stuff. 78 minutes. Scotland looking a little bit wobbly in their own half. Turnover ball, and then Picardo beats multiple tackles for the icing on the cake try for the Argentinians. So 33-24. They go from being 21 points to 0 down to beyond a score at the death. What a comeback from the Argentinians. 33 points in the second half after being kept scoreless in the first. Scotland led for 63 minutes. Crazy game. Argentina have more possession, 56%, more territory, 56%, more line breaks, 11-7. Remember, at halftime, it was in the Scots' favour, like 5-4. 11-7. 22 defenders beaten for the Scots, 27 by the Argentinians. Scots conceded double the penalties, 5-10. Neither line-out's great, but some great individuals. Cummings had 24 tackles for the Scots, but Mateo Carreras, 19 carries, 6 defenders beaten. Gajol beat 5 defenders, but honestly, Santi Carreras coming off the bench, Pablo Matera coming off the bench. These guys are the difference makers for the Argentinians. Once they got the momentum, man, they were really, really hard to live with. They have got England next, so they've got a pretty bad record against, which will be an interesting one because both sides coming in on a couple of wins. Scotland got Tonga, in which they can make a bunch of changes and no world rankings points to gain from that one because they are too far ahead. They needed Argentina to drop points here and then drop points next week. But not going to matter now. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. It was an absolute cracker. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.